Thanks, Alonzo. So my name is Kevin Brown. I'm the Deputy Chief of Public Safety here on Roosevelt Island. And one of my first tasks that Susan Rosenthal gave me when I came to the island was have a plan in writing. What are we going to do in case of an emergency? And we went over this plan and we talked and we kicked it around, myself, the chief, and Ms. Rosenthal for a long time before we could present it to you, the public. One of the things that the plan calls for is that we have a team in place, a team that in case of emergency, who is going to do what and where and how are they going to operate. So we do have a team in place with Ms. Rosenthal as the CEO of REOC, as the chairperson here. She will run our team, along with Shelton Haynes, our COO. They will give us the direction, and myself and the chief, we will be the people on the ground that will lead you guys and help you guys in case of an emergency. But we have other key players here. We have Steve, I forget his last name. And Cy is critical. You see Cy around the island. But there's another person that I always have to think about, Tamara. I don't know if you guys know Tamara. She fixes everything on the island. She's on top of things, cleaning up, fixing things. So we have a team in place, along with the IT department, in case phone lines go down. How we going to be able to communicate with anyone else? So we have a team in place, and then the plan calls for us to be ready. One good thing about New York City Emergency Management is that they hand out these books. I don't know if you guys seen these books. They hand them out, they give them out, they try to help people to look at them over and over, because most of the plan that goes in place is that you have to have a self-plan, that you have to think about what you're going to do before the emergency, and we're going to help. Don't discount that. We will help, we're going to be there. But in this book, they talk about having a go bag. I know that a long time ago when I first got married, my wife had a go bag. I'm like, where are we going with this? And but she has the go bag, and we're ready just in case of an emergency, and it's on standby. And thank God we've never used it. But you have to have things that you're going to need: essential materials, medication, water. How are you going to be able to operate in a short period of time? Because with the help of New York City Emergency Management, the FDNY, the NYPD, help is just a phone call away, and they are going to be here to help. But there are some other critical needs. The need for education, not only educating the public, but educating our staff. Who needs the most help at the critical times in case of an emergency? Roosevelt Island is very unique. We have a lot of seniors on the island. We've talked to building managers. We've talked to Kohler Hospital. They've been very good in giving us information so that in case of an emergency, the people who need us most, we will be there for them. I see Brian also from Manhattan Park. He's on top of his critical needs people. And if I miss somebody, I have the plans, all right? So in case I miss some of the building managers, the senior center, a great resource for us, knowing that of people who need us at the critical times. And we have gone over this, we've looked at it. One of the good things about the Public Safety Department is that they know their residents. In times of need, in times of crisis, they know the people who they need to get to. So, the education, the training, identifying the critical needs, and being prepared. I like to say that we have to be realistic about what types of emergencies that we have to be prepared for. But one of the natural ones is weather. Whether it's the heat in the summer, whether it's hurricane season, whether it's snow season, these are things that can actually happen where you guys need our help. And we have proven, we've shown that during these critical needs that we are here, that we have a plan, that we know what we're doing with that. But then there are other things, that could happen. hazardous, where we talk about this life safety, and there are 4 critical life safety. One is evacuation, shelter in place, and lockdown. We're most likely going to shelter in place if there's an emergency. If there's an emergency, we will communicate to all of our residents, whether you are on our advisory system, whether we have to get in touch with the building managers. We will give you the information and how we want you to proceed. One of the other key roles is what I mentioned before, is communicating. New York City Emergency Management, that is their role in any type of emergency, is getting all the players together so that we can all operate and function and get our emergency crisis to a halt. So with New York City Emergency Management, Fire Department, Police Department, they know their critical roles and responsibilities. The chief mentioned that for the fire department to get to the island, they have alternate means if anything goes wrong with the bridge, that they come over by boat. But for most of the emergencies, they're here in less than 4 minutes. And that goes for the police department also, that if we have an emergency, in our plan we talk about this, we have help coming, that they will be here to help us, and we will succeed in anything that we need. So, I just want to open this up to questions, because I've heard that there are a number of people who have questions, and we'll talk about, some of your concerns, if that is okay with you, Chief.
That's great.